Are you a brave person? Would you be willing to die for your Christian faith? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego placed their life on the line for their belief in their God. Are you willing to do the same for your belief in Jesus Christ? Have you ever faced a situation where standing for what you believe feels like stepping into a fire? Maybe it's being asked to compromise your values at work, or the pressure to conform in a culture that often celebrates anything but faith. Their story in Daniel chapter 3 is a timeless account of standing firm when the heat is on, literally. As someone passionate about sharing biblical truths, I've seen how this story resonates with Christians facing modern-day fires. From workplace challenges to personal crises, the pressure to bow to something other than God is very real. But as we dive into Daniel chapter 3, you'll discover a faith so bold that it defied the most powerful king of the time. Let's unpack their journey and draw strength from their unwavering commitment to God. A golden image and a demanding king. I want you to understand who these three boys are and who they were facing and the mental strain they were under. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are three Israelites who were taken as slaves from Israel after their army was decimated by Nebuchadnezzar's army. They were brought to Babylon to serve in the palace. They were castrated, and their names were changed from Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Can you imagine if this were to happen to you? Would you still hold on to your faith? The miraculous thing was that they continued their worship practice that they were accustomed to in Israel, now in Babylon, which resulted in the people hating them and conspiring for them to be killed because they would not bow and worship the image of Nebuchadnezzar. Please watch this video to the end and share and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring biblical insights. When considering Nebuchadnezzar, we should reflect on his extraordinary yet unsettling persona. Nebuchadnezzar, believe it or not, was a deeply narcissistic and egomaniacal tyrant. He was the epitome of self-obsession. Have you ever encountered someone so utterly consumed with their own self? Remarkably, Nebuchadnezzar conquered Nineveh, a city proclaimed to be unconquerable at the age of 17. He did so with an army of 50,000 men known as the Scythians, a group described by historians as some of the fiercest warriors to have ever lived. Their cruelty was infamous. They were said to tie captured soldiers to chariots and pull them apart by driving the chariots in opposite directions. Nebuchadnezzar managed to command these fearsome warriors not through counsel or government, but through the sheer force of his own personality and character. By the age of 25, Nebuchadnezzar had risen to become a world ruler, dominating nations with his unmatched charisma and willpower. Imagine a narcissistic, egomaniacal figure controlling the world at such a young age. While power in the hands of the mature can be a force for good, Nebuchadnezzar's immaturity and unbridled ego made him a dangerous leader. To illustrate this, consider the extreme measures he took to glorify himself. Historical accounts suggest that he erected an image not of one of his gods, but of himself. The instruction was given, that at what time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king hath set up, and whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of a burning fiery furnace. Therefore at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, sackbut, psaltery, and all kinds of music, all the people, the nations, and the languages fell down and worshipped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar the king had set up. However, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would not do that, so they were brought before the king, and they answered and said to the king, O Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. They laid their life on the line and were willing to die for their belief, even though they had endured such trauma in their lives. Their faith in Jehovah was still strong. What trauma have you endured in your life? What are you facing now? please keep your faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are an encouragement to us. They stood firm in their belief in God, a testament to their remarkable trust in Jesus Christ. I hope you are willing to do the same. King Nebuchadnezzar's golden image was no small display of power. It towered over the plain of Dura, symbolizing not just wealth, but total control. By commanding every ruler and citizen to bow, Nebuchadnezzar sought not just homage but allegiance. For Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, bowing was not an option. They served a higher king, and their faith forbade them to worship anything or anyone else. The decree was simple: bow or burn. For many the choice was clear: avoid the flames at all costs. But for these three young men, there was a greater cost in betraying their God. Faith under fire, the moment of decision. Imagine the pressure. Thousands bowing in unison as the music played. Yet three figures stood tall amidst the sea of submission. The courage to refuse wasn't born in that moment. It was the result of a life devoted to God. Their response to Nebuchadnezzar's rage is breathtaking. If it be so, our God whom we serve is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of thine hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, O king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image which thou hast set up. Daniel 3:17-18. This wasn't just faith in God's power, it was faith in God's plan, whether it meant deliverance or death. God's deliverance, a fourth man in the fire. Thrown into a furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego were bound and helpless, or so it seemed. Instead of destruction, the fire became their stage for a divine miracle. Nebuchadnezzar himself witnessed the impossible. Lo, I see 4 men loose, walking in the midst of the fire, and they have no hurt, and the form of the fourth is like the Son of God. Daniel 3:25. The presence of the fourth man, believed by many to be a pre-incarnate Christ, revealed God's faithfulness. Not only did they emerge unharmed, but their boldness transformed a pagan king's heart. What this means for you in faith that stands tall. Today we may not face a literal furnace, but the pressure to bow to societal norms, fear, or compromise is just as real. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego's story challenges us to trust God's sovereignty, even when the outcome is uncertain. Here are 3 lessons to take with you. Faith requires courage. Standing for God means rejecting idols, whether they're materialism, fear, or approval. God is with you in the fire. You're never alone in your trials. His presence sustains and delivers. Your boldness inspires others. Just like Nebuchadnezzar's change of heart, your faith can impact those around you. Final thoughts: trusting the God who delivers. The faith of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego wasn't just about survival, it was about glorifying God in their stand. Whether you're facing a fiery trial or the subtle pressures of daily life, their story reminds us that God is not just able to deliver, but is always present in the fire. So, what's your furnace today? Take heart, there's another in the fire with you, and his power is unmatched. Like these 3 faithful men, may we choose courage over compromise, trusting the God who holds us in his hands. How has God shown up for you in your moments of trial? Share your story in the comments and encourage someone else today. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring biblical insights.